It's late May 2024. I'm visiting the John Day River near the town of Spray, Oregon. The John Day River is the longest undammed river in Oregon and one of the longest undammed rivers in the United States. In this region, the river flows through beautiful deep canyons in the arid high desert landscape of Central Oregon. At this time during the spring, colorful flowers decorate the scenery. I'm going to be staying at the Muleshoe Bureau of Land Management campground, which is located on Oregon Highway 19, about 10 miles west of Spray, Oregon. The entrance to the campground is just up ahead. The campground is located right on the John Day River and has 6 drive-up campsites and several walk-in campsites. Coming up on the right-hand side of the road, there's the path to several of the walk-in campsites. Just ahead on the left side of the road are the 6 drive-up campsites. The first 2 campsites appeared to be vacant. I decided to take the first campsite, campsite number 1. My campsite, as well as the other campsites here, are relatively close to the river, just a short walk away. After parking my van, I went for a walk. I wanted to explore the area around the riverbank. At the edge of my campsite, there was a path that headed in the direction of the river, so I started out walking down that path. After I'd walked a bit down the path, it turned so that it now ran parallel to the river. I continued walking on the path, now headed in the east upstream direction. The path ends at the campground boat launch. The boat launch is simply a gravel road that goes down to the river. I believe it's mainly used by people rafting on the river. It does provide a good place to get right down to the water. I then turned around and headed back in the direction I'd come from, going downstream along the river. Shrubs are quite dense along a lot of the riverbank, making it difficult to get right down to the water. I did find another place where I could get relatively close to the river with a good view of the water rushing downstream. At this time in the spring, water flow is quite high due to snow melt and spring rains. If you visit another time of the year, you will likely find much lower water flow. During my stay at the Muleshoe campground, it was occasionally fairly windy. In this time-lapse, you can see the wind blowing the trees and shrubs and moving the clouds along. I rode out on my bike to see more of the John Day River in the area near the campground. As I mentioned earlier, Oregon Highway 19 goes right by the campground. Highway 19 is also known as the John Day Highway. In this region, the highway stays pretty close to the river, so it's a good way to see the river and the river canyon. I think this is a particularly scenic spot on the river. Upstream, the river makes a big, lazy curve, which beautifully frames the rock walls of the canyon, rising steeply above the river. I like using the bike for sightseeing. It allows you to travel quite a bit slower than you typically travel in a car, but you can still cover some reasonable distances. Still, it's good to get off the bike sometimes. This turnout allowed me to get right next to the river. After biking for several miles alongside the river and enjoying the sights, I turned around and rode back to the campground. When visiting the high desert, I enjoy the opportunity to see the star-filled night sky. This time-lapse video shows the wonderful star display over the John Day River. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.